everybody, welcome back to the Bad Bookers Wrestling Podcast. My name is Jack and today we have got a review of Monday Night Raw for you. Above average a Monday Night Raw, I'd say. Above average. Yeah, above average, I would say. What did you think of Raw? Leave a comment down below of what you thought of Raw, and while you're down there you might as well hit like and subscribe. Mean a hell of a lot to us. Monday Night Raw then. We didn't do a review of the Rumble because I was drunk. such a dirty stop out. I was drunk around a mate's house watching the Rumble. That was a long old slog, wasn't it? But a good slog, if you will. So that happened, and tonight we saw some implications of what happened at the Rumble on Monday Night Raw. And we'll kickstart with the men's Royal Rumble winner, Seth Rollins, coming out first on Monday Night Raw. He said that last week he would outlast 29 other men in the Rumble because he has heart, he has determination, he has the passion, and that this week he can proudly say that he is going to WrestleMania, and he can proudly say that he did have the heart, he did have the determination, the desire to win the Rumble. The fans going crazy, chanting "You deserve it" and whatnot. And Seth, joking, even though he did it at the Rumble, he said he jokingly says that he's never pointed it at the sign, the WrestleMania sign. To be fair, there wasn't a WrestleMania sign at the Rumble. There was just a screen with the WrestleMania logo on. So I guess that's kind of right, isn't it? Unless he's done it before in the past, which I don't remember. And he says the Rumble was only the beginning of the journey, as he has a tough choice to make between his long-term friend, Daniel Bryan. Obviously, they're in Ring of Honor together when Bryan Danielson and Tyler Black. Or the Universal Champion, Brock Lesnar. He can go to Suplex City, as he said. Triple H then comes out and says that at the end of last year, he said to Seth that he wanted to see the real Seth Rollins. He wanted to see what the Seth Rollins from a few years back. He wanted to see that Seth Rollins back, and today he can stand in this ring, and he's proud that he's got the real Seth Rollins in front of him. And he also says to Seth that you haven't got long to think, because Becky Lynch, the Women's Rumble winner, is making a decision tomorrow night. So you need to make your decision tonight, Seth. You need to choose between Daniel Bryan or between Brock Lesnar. And Seth's like, it's going to be one of the hardest decisions in my life. But it wasn't for long that Dean Ambrose came out, and Dean Ambrose was saying that when we were on the road together, you know that this guy, pointed at Triple H, you know that this guy didn't ever believe in you. There was only one person that ever believed in you, and that was myself. That was myself, Seth. And Trips never wanted him in WWE. He never wanted him here, and Seth knows that, and he knows that as well. And he says that Seth's changed. He says that he's a suck up now, and that he's a kiss ass to the authority. And he says that he hopes that Seth goes on to beat one of Brock or one of Daniel Bryan, but there's always one man that he's never beaten without the help of a Corporate Kane, a J&J, or Triple H, and that is himself, Dean Ambrose. And he says Dean Ambrose says to Triple H, make a match, get a referee out here, make a match. Triple H just smiles and then goes onto the apron, and Dean kind of pokes his head through the ropes and goes, "Where are you going? Do you have to ask a father-in-law for permission to make a match?" And the crowd were like, oh. And Trips just said, "Get a referee out here." And that was the first match of the night. Seth Rollins versus Dean Ambrose again. But probably for the last time before the news is true coming up this morning. It was about a 20-minute match or so. Seth picking up the win after a curb stomp. It was kind of like a mad kind of ending. He hits, what did he hit? He hit a super kick, and then he hit the rip curl knee kind of thing, buckle bomb, and then I think it might have been rip curl knee, buckle bomb, super kick into the stomp, and then he won the match. He picked up the win. I'm trying to think. I've written down, kind of not in order, I assume. Ripcord, buckle bomb, smack. Yeah, and then he picked up the win with the 1-2-3. We then had a commercial break, and we came back, and Dean Ambrose was still in the ring, sitting in a chair, and we don't know what was happening with Dean, but it's come out recently, just as I'm recording this about 10-15 minutes ago, that Dean Ambrose has apparently handed in his notice at WWE and is going after Mania. So if that's true, maybe he was about to say that, and he was swiftly cut off when the commercial breaks come out. Now, if he was going to say something, he probably would have said it anyway during the break, but I don't know what's happening there. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. It's all speculation at the moment until Dean himself comes out and says, yeah, I'm going, or he just leaves, I guess. Stuff like that. Like I said, Nia Jax and Tamina came out for their scheduled match, and Nia Jax and Dean Ambrose kind of squared off a little bit. Obviously, Nia Jax entering the men's rumble and having a bit of intergender wrestling going on there, and Dean Ambrose distracted by Tamina before Nia Jax just strikes with a like swift forearm to the back of the head to Dean Ambrose, which sends him outside the ring, and he gets escorted away from by referees and whatnot, and the match could start. It's a qualifier match for the Elimination Chamber women's tag team title match at Elimination Chamber, surprisingly, and it's going to be Nia Jax and Tamina versus Alexa Bliss and Mickie James. This was a relatively short match, 10 minutes or so. Nia Jax and Tamina picking up the win after Nia Jax did a double Samoan drop to Alexa Bliss and Mickie James off the top rope. I don't know what happened. She had Mickie James on the top rope. I think Mickie managed to kind of drag herself to the top rope while on Nia Jax's shoulders. Alexa Bliss kind of went up to the top rope, and Nia Jax just picked her up as well, slotted her on top, and then double Samoan drop, and Nia Jax picking up the pin over Mickie James, and they qualify for the women's tag team match at inside Elimination Chamber at Elimination Chamber. It's a mouthful, isn't it? Next up, we had a pretty random match. Baron Corbin versus Kurt Angle. It's not random in the sense that, you know, if it wasn't for Baron Corbin, Kurt Angle would still be GM, but it would make more sense if Baron Corbin was still GM. Like, Kurt Angle's already got his revenge kind of deal on Baron Corbin at TLC and whatnot, but we had a match anyway, and before the match, Corbin got on the mic and said that he knows Kurt Angle believes he has one more good run in him, one more good match, one more great match in him. But it's just not true, is it, Kurt? It's just not true, and that he's going to humiliate him, and Kurt Angle just lays into him. The bell rings, but this match was probably about 10 minutes as well. It wasn't a particularly long match. And it got ruined by commentary. Commentary was just bickering all through the match, literally all through the match until the ending. So that ruined it a little bit. But Baron Corbin managed to kick out of an angle slam. He then managed to kind of wiggle his way out of an ankle lock, and then hit a deep six on Kurt Angle, and that's what won him the match. He's won a match via a deep six, which does not seem very often, if at all. I don't remember the last time he did. I feel like there was one last year on Raw that he won via a deep six, but I'm not too sure. I can't remember who it was against anyway. But yeah, Baron Corbin beating Kurt Angle with the deep six, like I said. And where does that leave Kurt Angle? What is he doing? Like, I get he's putting over talent, but there's no point having him wrestle once a month or once every couple of months just to put someone over. Like, there's not much point really, is there? But yeah, Corbin beat Angle. We then had Finn Bálor come out, and he's talking about the Rumble and saying that, you know, he fought toe to toe with Brock Lesnar for about 10 minutes or so, whatever it was. I think the actual time was like 8 minutes 40 or something like that. But he's making no excuses. Not only did Brock beat him up once, he beat him up twice as well with the attack afterwards. But he's happy that Brock Lesnar's done that. He is hurting today, but he's happy. And he's holding his head held. He's holding his head held high. He's holding his head high because he knows that he's made Brock Lesnar believe in Finn Bálor. He was swiftly cut off by the team of Bobby Lashley and Lio Rush, and Lio Rush says that it's a disgrace that Finn Bálor even got an opportunity at the Universal title, and that if he ever came up against Bobby Lashley, he wouldn't have a chance. Bobby Lashley's faster than Brock, he's stronger than Brock. There was something else, I can't remember what it was. Did I write it down in my notes? Just stronger and faster, that's what I've written down. And Brock has nothing on Bobby Lashley, and Finn just turns to him and says, "Didn't you only last 12 seconds in the Rumble, Bobby?" And Bobby didn't like that, so he smashed the shit into Finn Balor, and that seems to set up that feud. So Finn Balor versus Bobby Lashley for the IC belt, Elimination Chamber. Easy enough, simple booking, I guess. Moves Finn away from the Universal title, puts Seth over into that slot if he picks Brock Lesnar, and simple movement of talent. So that's probably the feud going forward, Lashley versus Balor. Hopefully Balor wins the belt at Elimination Chamber. That'll be quite good, I think. We then had a very, very short match between the Revival and the Edgeheads. I was going to say new tag team, but they're not a new tag team. So it's Zack Ryder and Curt Hawkins. Like I said, quick match. The Revival picking up the win after a shatter machine with Dash Wilder picking up the victory over Curt Hawkins. I just wonder when they're going to get their first win. Or Curt Hawkins going to get his first win in a while. I don't know who it'd be against. I wouldn't mind seeing, considering the state of the tag division on both Raw and SmackDown at the moment, I wouldn't mind their first win winning the titles, if I'm honest, in like a multi-man match. Their first win, yeah, I wouldn't mind that. I think I'd quite enjoy that. It'd be out the blue, and they can hold it for like a month or so, and then sling it on a dominant tag team, the Revival, to keep them happy for a little bit anyway. And see that going. But next up after that, we had Elias segment, and Elias seems to have turned heel again, so it's a bit weird. I guess it makes sense. He was losing a hell of a lot more as a face, because standard faces usually lose on Raw unless they're big top dogs. So makes sense. The crowd are still going to cheer him whether he's face or heel. But I don't know if he's going to turn face next week again. But he turned heel because Jeff Jarrett was once again in the building, but this time he was joined by Road Dogg, his roadie. Good, crowd popped. Road Dogg said that because Elias was going to perform for himself, and Road Dogg said that you should play with yourself in your own time, and then the crowd started chanting "holy shit," and they were like, "This is a family friendly," so you just made an innuendo, Road Dogg, whatever. But they walked down to the ring, both Jeff Jarrett and Road Dogg, and Elias smashes Road Dogg. He doesn't smash himself, does he? Well, maybe if Road Dogg said he... Maybe. He smashes Road Dogg over the head with a guitar. It can't have been the head. He hit him with a guitar. I assume it wasn't over the head. That can't be allowed, surely. But Road Dogg is a Road Dogg. And then Jeff Jarrett gets on top of him in the scrap they had. But before Jeff Jarrett could hit Elias with the guitar, Elias gets the upper hand and smashes Jeff Jarrett with his own guitar. And Elias is standing tall over Road Dogg and Jeff Jarrett. I don't know what year it is anymore. Another tag team qualifying match for the women's tag team match at Elimination Chamber. We had Natalya and Dana Brooke. Dana Brooke, we still don't know if she's heel or face, but she was replacing Ember Moon, who's requiring elbow surgery. I think she got the injury during the Rumble match. Not sure when or how, but she's requiring surgery on her elbow. So she was replaced by Dana Brooke, and they were facing the Riot Squad. Once again, it wasn't a particularly long match. Ember Moon. Why? I've looked at my notes and I saw Ember, but I've told you about that. Natalya put Liv Morgan into the sharpshooter at the finish of the match, and Sarah Logan was going to go into the ring, and then Dana Brooke started to beat her up, only for Sarah Logan to throw Dana Brooke into Natalya, and that broke up the sharpshooter. Liv Morgan then rolled Natalya up, picking up the free count for the Riot Squad. So now we've got the team of Nia Jax and Tamina, and 2/3 of the Riot Squad, whichever 2/3 that will be. In this match it was Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan, but I wouldn't be surprised if they put Ruby Riott in there instead of Liv Morgan or something like that. I'm not too sure. or they'll have those two end and have Ruby Riott in a match of her own, maybe. Not too sure, but yeah, those two teams. So I think next week we're getting... It's a really random team. I know that much. Who is it? It's Sasha Banks and Bayley versus Alicia Fox and Nikki Cross, I believe it is. Pretty random ass team. That should mean that Sasha and Bayley are winning. I don't know why. I guess it's because they're both a little bit crazy. Nikki Cross and Alicia Fox. I don't know. I just don't know. Then had the interesting part of Raw. Ronda Rousey comes out to a chorus of boos and the fans just wailing on her, and Ronda crumbled under the pressure. She delivered her worst promo by an absolute mile. She couldn't get her words out. She was getting stopped by the crowd, and she was just... The look on her face was like, I don't want to be here, and it was just horrible and awkward to watch. And they sent out Bayley. She was going to do an open challenge, but before she said anything about an open challenge, they sent Bayley out to say, look, I'm ready for a fight, you're ready for a fight, let's have a fight, basically. And they had their match, and that's the only reason they brought Bayley out that early, because the crowd were just not letting up, and Ronda was not doing anything to try and stop them from letting up. And they had the match. It was about a 20-minute match. It was not a short match. Ronda Rousey even retaining, obviously, against Bayley by making her submit with the armbar. But Bayley was on top for most of it because they were working an injured knee, because Ronda wasn't 100% after the Sasha Banks match. One point, Bayley putting in the bank statement onto Ronda. And, you know, they both stood up at the end of it. They shook hands, which Sasha wasn't going to do at the Rumble, but Bayley did shake hands this time. And then none other than the man's music hit, Becky Lynch, on Monday Night Raw, comes down to the ring and cuts a promo on Ronda Rousey saying, I told you that I was going to find a way to get to you, Ronnie. And she says that I will be facing you at WrestleMania, so it's going to be Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey, maybe Charlotte Flair in there if they want to kill it off, maybe, I'm not sure, at WrestleMania. And Becky says that she's going to break Ronda's mystique, take her title and kick her ass in front of the whole entire world. And then Ronda, 15 minutes before cutting her worst promo, she then cuts her best promo she's ever done, and she shuts the crowd up, and it's just like, it's so inconsistent. What the hell's going on? Saying that, you know, how was your knee after Nia Jax injured it in the Royal Rumble, and then saying that, you know, Becky, we're both the same age, and while you've been training, I've been dominating everywhere I've gone. I'm a household name wherever I've gone. I've made women's divisions in a company that didn't even want women fighting, let alone at the main event of their card. And how long have you been the man? Because last year, WrestleMania, you were on the kickoff show, while on my debut, I stole the show at WrestleMania. And she said that she could kill Becky with her own two hands without breaking a sweat. And the only reason why she doesn't is because of the decision not to at the moment. And she said that she's going to rip Becky's arm off at WrestleMania and show the world who is the baddest bitch on the planet. And like I said, it was a really good promo, a really intense promo as well. And I think she spilled over her words once, but that's because she was like getting into it proper intense. And yeah, it was just a fantastic promo. Like I said, I don't understand, compared to 15 minutes previous, I don't know where it came from, but it was really damn good. And we're getting Becky versus Ronda at Mania, and I can't bloody wait. We then had the last match of the evening, Drew McIntyre versus Braun Strowman. It was about a 5-minute match, all said and told. Braun was about to hit Drew McIntyre with the steel stairs. Obviously, that steel stairs was a major compartment of Braun's injury from previous, that Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre, and Baron Corbin caused the elbow injury for Braun. And talking about Baron Corbin, he hit Braun Strowman from behind while he was just before he was about to strike Drew McIntyre, and they managed to get Braun down. Braun managed to get back up again and get the upper hand, doing his little run around the thing, hitting both Drew, who's on one side of the ring, and Baron Corbin, who's on the other side. But Baron Corbin then managed to get on top, and Drew McIntyre managed to get up. Get up and help Baron Corbin. And as they were about to walk off, Braun started to stir and get back up. So they went back, double chokeslam onto the steel steps, and Braun sold it wonderfully. So they're looking dominant on top of Braun. Wouldn't be surprised if there's a handicap match. Wouldn't be surprised if they bury both of Drew McIntyre and Baron Corbin, because that's WWE at the end of the day. They can do something great like this Becky Ronda thing. They'll probably ruin that by putting Charlotte in it. We don't know. We don't know at the moment. They'll probably bury Drew McIntyre, even though he's one of their best things at the moment. We'll have to wait and see, won't we? We then ended the show with Brock Lesnar coming out and Paul Heyman cutting a promo on how Seth Rollins, you said that Triple H said that you had to make a decision by the end of the night, and it's going to be a relatively easy decision, Seth. You're going to have to pick Daniel Bryan, because there's no way that you would pick Brock Lesnar just to get your holy hell beaten out of you. You can go and have a good grappling match with Dean Ambrose, but there's no way you're winning a fight with Brock Lesnar, and that's what it would be, a fight. Seth Rollins then comes out to the ring, instantly jumps in the ring and just stares out Brock Lesnar, and Brock kind of like turns to Paul Heyman to laugh a little bit, and Seth attacks him, but he goes for the stomp, but it wasn't long before Brock Lesnar hits not one, not two, not three, but 6 F5s onto Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins didn't like... It made him look incredibly strong, or Brock Lesnar incredibly weak. The F5 doesn't work anymore, because after 6, he was still kind of like rolling about, kind of dealy. He wasn't knocked out or anything, if you will. And it is confirmed that Seth Rollins will be facing Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania for the Universal title. And I'm happy about this. It's what I predicted would happen. I said that Seth's going to win the Rumble, which he did. And it's an easy choice, because he can, whatever route they went to take, whether it was Brock, Finn, AJ or Daniel Bryan, it would just be a good quality WrestleMania match. And it's going to be another David Goliath kind of story, with the workhorse and the beast, if you will. But hopefully Seth comes out on top. And that was Monday Night Raw. I'm going to give it, I think I gave it 3.25 stars. Just much better than last week, but still, it's getting better. At least it's getting better week on week, kind of thing. 3.25 stars I gave it. So hopefully next week can be 3.5, and then the week after that 3.75. Just gradual growth, and fingers crossed. Anyway, that was Monday Night Raw. I have been Jack. Please like, please subscribe, and I shall see you tomorrow for SmackDown Live. Thank you very much for watching.